Can you guys believe that it's been one whole month since Indiana Jones 5, The Dial of Destiny, released in theaters back on June 30th? It's quite crazy to see exactly, where we were in a phase where Bob Iger and Disney in general really believed that this movie was going to hit the 1 billion mark worldwide at the box office, and it ended up only getting 330 million plus worldwide at the box office. And that really kind of created a big domino effect, not just for Lucasfilm, but also for everything Star Wars, Marvel, and more. And this is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. And let's get right into the subject, shall we? Now we know that Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who portrays Helena Shaw, is somebody that constantly upsells and defends Indiana Jones 5, of course, even going as far to say that she believes that the send-off for Indiana in this movie is better than The Last Crusade and holds a better ending than the third film by Stephen and George. Just goes to show you that she really is clueless and either does not believe in what she's saying and is just saying things to kind of make this movie appear that it's better than what it really is, or she does believe in what she's saying. Now, moving onwards, we know that there's a lot of problems happening with Bob Iger, the Disney board, specifically everything to do with the Disney and Lucasfilm purge that is happening, and how Dial of Destiny really kind of created a big budgeting limitation on several Lucasfilm projects, all of which being Star Wars, obviously. Now, moving to the next big thing here is exactly what Phoebe Waller had to deliver to everyone involving Indy 5. Now, with Phoebe Waller-Bridge now fired from several projects by Disney, including the ongoing early development project of Indy 5 sequel, she recently dropped some major news revolving around Indy 5. She went on to deliver the following to everybody. Well, we had this scene that myself and James were working on that he absolutely loved the idea. I really wanted to visually explain how Mutt Jones/Williams met his demise during the Vietnam War, to really make it concrete that no further bloodline of Indiana Jones survived. This way, sequels featuring his heritage would hold no possibility. But James felt it would have been too extreme and made no sense to visually tell the story in flashbacks. But it was my and Kathy's idea to really express that Mutt Williams died in Vietnam, because we just didn't want to set fans up for expecting his son to take on the mantle as the next big archaeologist that goes on wild adventures. We really wanted to set it up that Helena Shaw takes up that mantle. We did have a revised ending that we ended up cutting, where it focused on Indy's hat, just like in the final cut, except where my hand grabs it as we cut to credits. But Mangold removed this, and it was a tough decision because I wanted that to be explored. Now, guys, let me just pause here quick about what Phoebe Waller is explaining. Now, the problem with this is there were a lot of sequences that were altered by Mangold and Phoebe Waller for that final shot where you do see Indy's hat hanging off of the apartment. And what she's saying is that her hand grabbing the hat would suggest Helena Shaw taking up the mantle and having those sequels be about her. And you know what? I think that Mangold was really ahead of his game a little bit because, well, she's going to talk about this, but he actually did sense that this movie may very well not do well and removed that actual one little shot of the hand coming in and grabbing the hat because he felt that this movie had a good possibility of not meeting expectations, not doing well at the box office, and setting up a false sequel that would never happen. He didn't want that essential, I guess you could say, closure that would have made absolutely no sense. Now, moving onwards here, this is where things get even more complex because we know that here she is admitting that she is the one responsible for making it quote-unquote canon or official, whatever have you, in Indy 5 that Mutt Williams died in Vietnam. This is all a Phoebe Waller-Bridge idea, mind you, not a James Mangold idea. This was actually contributed by no other than Waller-Bridge, similar to how she actually made this happen in 007 Bond 25, aka No Time to Die, that the female character took up that 007 moniker in the beginning before James comes back. That was all Phoebe's idea. Now, moving to the next thing here, she goes on to elaborate, but James insisted what if this film does not actually meet expectations and setting up a sequel will be meaningless. So we left it out, but it was my entire concept that became a reality that Kathy agreed with me on for making it official that Mutt, Williams, or Jones, whatever, died during Vietnam. It was a legitimate way to create closure for the bloodline, you know, for that heritage, for that family, to really make it concrete that no further members of his family can take up that mantle for useless sequels ahead with no new characters. We wanted to keep our future open and our options open as well. And though I have no idea what's going on right now with sequels, I know Kathy is still pursuing them to a degree, but I have not been informed in a while on that progress. The ending was my idea, but Mangold really helped us out a great deal with how it was going to be executed, and I loved it. Now, a lot of you guys may be saying, Mike, why in the world does an actress participate in the story? Well, that's because Phoebe Waller-Bridge is technically, if you really want to say this, technically I should say, considered a creator, considered a writer, alright? Because she believes that Fleabag is such a massive hit of a TV show that it's so universally accepted to the point where she can do whatever she pleases. This is why Barbara Broccoli welcomed her with open arms with Bond 25. This is why Barbara Broccoli is actually, believe it or not, allowing Phoebe to take part and help of casting the new James Bond for Bond 26. And it doesn't end there. Phoebe Waller-Bridge is also creating a Tomb Raider series, and Mangold was very impressed by that. So he trusted her, he believed in her, and so a lot of those decisions made in this movie are all because of Phoebe Waller-Bridge. So make no mistake, it wasn't all Mangold, it wasn't all Kathy per se, but a lot of it did have to do with Phoebe's ideas getting accepted by Kathy Kennedy. Now, I don't know about you guys, but the ending to me was very weak. It was very anticlimactic. It felt a little boring. It just didn't really have any kind of emotion, because you know why? We have Phoebe Waller-Bridge knocking Indiana Jones senseless, right? Just, it goes cut to black. It's so dramatic. And then we wake up in the apartment, right? He wakes up, Marion's there, she leaves, and that's that. You know, Sala follows through, and that's the end. So that's why it felt so out of place. It's so quick, the transition made no sense, and it just didn't work with the general public, because it's followed by that actual scene that also Phoebe admitted to, that was her idea of punching out Indiana Jones. In fact, she did go on the record saying that she thought it was a funny scene, getting the opportunity to punch Harrison Ford, you know, not officially, but story-wise, Indiana Jones, whatever have you, and making that happen. She actually thought that was funny on set. So, anyway guys, drop a comment below, fill me in below in the comments what you all have to say about this, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.
Gun in hand, we are alone again. No, from night to